All right, it's 3 minutes after the top of the hour. Top U.S. officials are expected to meet with their Chinese counterparts in Switzerland this weekend. This is big news for the first set of trade talks since President Trump's tariffs went into effect.
Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy joins us with more details. Good morning, Peter.
Hey, Peter.
Good morning. And officials here at the White House were able to get their Chinese counterparts to the table to talk about these tariffs without relaxing any of them, which was the plan for the last couple of weeks. So at least trade-wise, this is going to be the biggest weekend since Liberation Day.
What we're going to do in Switzerland is we've agreed to talk. Then on Saturday and Sunday, we will agree what we're going to talk about. My sense is that this will be about de-escalation, not about the big trade deal. But we've got to de-escalate before we can move forward.
And the intrigue grows ahead of a Trump trip to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates next week, because we know the president wouldn't go all that way without a belief that he could make a big splash on the world stage. And he claims that is exactly what is about to happen.
We're going to have a very, very big announcement to make. Like, as big as it gets, it is really, really positive. And that announcement will be made either Thursday or Friday or Monday before we leave. But it'll be one of the most important announcements that have been made in many years about a certain subject.
So, a certain subject, it might not have to do with trade. We know that Saudi Arabia, the first stop on his trip, was originally where he hoped to talk about the Ukraine war with Vladimir Putin. But that appears to have fizzled out because it's not on any of the schedules that we've seen for next week. So, a big announcement tomorrow or Friday. Stay tuned. It might be something for Brian's birthday. I don't know. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see. He could be waiting. Peter, am I right? Did he say Middle East, though? Was it something in the Middle East? Did I interpret that correctly? Or
no,
could it be anything?
It is classic Trump. He is building suspense. So yesterday, just kind of dangle something out there. We will talk about it all day today now. And then tomorrow he can do the big reveal.
And he did rename the Persian Gulf the Gulf of Arabia. Because we don't want to give it to Iran? I mean, taking it from Iran?
Well, we'll see. If it is something like that, a renaming, we know that renaming the Gulf of Mexico Gulf of America is one of his favorite accomplishments of the first 100 days. He still keeps the Gulf of America map next to the desk so that the news outlets that don't want to say Gulf of America have to include it in all of their video and their photos. So it could be.
What do you think it is? Any rumblings that maybe a deal with India, maybe something with Iran?
I mean, if I had a crystal ball, because he said that it was one of the most important announcements in many years about a certain subject, it would seem like he's talking about something that's been going on for a long time. So either Ukraine or the Israel-Hamas war. But there's just no way to know with him.
That we also
it really could be anything.
Well, he said the Houthi rebels are tired of fighting. So I guess.
But he already announced that, so I don't know if that counts.
No, it wouldn't count.
Always trying to predict the president. Thanks, Peter.
All right, thanks so much.
I do think it's interesting, and Brian, you noted this when we were starting, that China has caved. Looks like the people protesting in China. President Trump has to be one of the most lucky individuals. He continued to say, hey, just be cool. They're going to be forced to come to the negotiating table, and it looks like it's about to happen. Yeah,
well, we are taxing Chinese imports 145%, those tariffs, and then China hit us back with 125% tariffs. Now, this is the first time that we've had an interaction with China since the inauguration. Remember, they sent the Chinese vice president to the inauguration. This is the first time the two countries have sat down together, so it is big news. You heard Scott Bessent say first they think this will be about de-escalation. And global trade experts told the BBC that they expect the negotiations to take several months.
So Radio Free Asia says that hundreds of employees have taken to the streets in China to demand better pay and challenge the layoffs that they're forced to digest after the shutdown of Chinese factories because of the manufacturing has slowed down to that degree, heavily anyway between 23 and 25. They also, Goldman Sachs of China, an economist at Goldman Sachs says they estimate that 16 million jobs are involved in producing goods sold to the U.S., and prices will need to fall for domestic and other foreign policy.
It's working.
So one of the things they're saying is China has to consume more. But China's going, we're not consuming more because you're not paying me enough. And number two is We have terrible retirement benefits, $160 a month. So you want us to live on that? We have to save our money because you're not paying us anything. Also, their Medicare, with their version of Medicare, is awful. So they have low birth rates, they're not getting married, and a whole generation is called laying down. They are called laying flat. The youth from 18 to 34 are deciding to drop out of school and not have a job, lay flat. Good luck with that, superpower. You know, so they got some problems.
And I think it's just forced them to the negotiation table as a result of that.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.